Hello, I am Dr. Sophia Grace, a men's health specialist with more than 30 years of experience. Throughout my journey of listening to and working with many couples, I have noticed a truth that is rarely spoken about but exists in the sexual life of many people. That women often find it difficult to reach orgasm through vaginal intercourse alone. This is not only a physiological issue, but it also touches on psychology, connection, and even confidence in love. Perhaps you have witnessed or experienced that feeling when both partners are immersed in an eagerly awaited moment, but the woman does not achieve the climax she desires. Sometimes she remains silent, smiling to keep the atmosphere light, but deep inside she feels incomplete, unfulfilled. And the man, if he is sensitive, will notice that, leading to concerns and even invisible pressure the next time. So what is the reason? Is it because women are too demanding, or because men are not sensitive enough? In fact, the explanation comes from science. Many studies have shown that only about 30 to 35% of women can reach orgasm through vaginal intercourse alone, while the majority need additional clitoral stimulation to experience full pleasure. This is completely normal and reflects the unique biological structure of women. The clitoris, with thousands of concentrated nerve endings, is the center of pleasure, while the vagina is less sensitive, especially in its deeper areas. But this is not the end of the story. The good news is that modern science has revealed that certain sexual positions can significantly increase blood flow to the clitoris, thereby improving the chances of orgasm. In fact, studies using 3D technology and ultrasound have shown clear differences in blood circulation when women change positions. This means that, with the right understanding and skillful application, you can help your partner move much closer to orgasm. In this video, I will share with you 4 sexual positions that science has proven to bring women greater pleasure. And especially, stay until the end because I will also reveal secret techniques you can apply right away to enhance the experience and bring satisfaction to both partners. In sexual life, orgasm is often seen as the ultimate goal, the moment both partners are striving for. However, in reality, this is not so simple for women. Many studies have indicated that most women do not easily reach orgasm through vaginal intercourse alone. According to health surveys, only about 30 to 35% of women can orgasm during sex without any additional stimulation. That means nearly 70% of women need extra help, especially clitoral stimulation, to reach complete pleasure. The reason lies in anatomy and nerve distribution. The clitoris contains more than 8,000 nerve endings, twice as many as the penis, but they are concentrated mainly on the outer surface. Meanwhile, the vaginal wall is less sensitive, especially in its deeper areas. That is why traditional intercourse alone often makes orgasm much harder for women compared to men. This explains why many women may be happy in their relationships, but still secretly feel unfulfilled in their sex life. Unfortunately, this topic is rarely discussed, partly because society often attaches prejudice to women's sexual desire, and partly because they fear hurting their partner's pride. Therefore, many choose silence, pretending to be satisfied in order to maintain harmony. But over time, this silence can create an invisible distance, making both partners feel less connected. The woman feels disappointed, while the man unintentionally falls into the pressure of having to perform better without understanding where the real problem lies. In truth, this is not anyone's fault. It is simply a natural difference in body structure and nerve physiology. The important thing is that we understand this so as not to blame or feel helpless, but instead to find a way to improve. And the good news is that science has proven that just by changing a few sexual positions, blood flow to the clitoris increases significantly, helping women reach orgasm more easily. So, which positions are truly effective and why? Right now, let's explore the science behind orgasm and the positions proven to bring the most pleasure. To understand why some sexual positions help women reach orgasm more easily, we need to look at the scientific foundation behind pleasure. Orgasm is not just an emotional reaction, but in fact the result of a complex coordination between the circulatory system, the nervous system, and hormones. First of all, blood flow plays an extremely important role. When women are aroused, blood vessels around the pelvic area dilate, sending blood to the clitoris and surrounding tissues. The more blood flows in, the more engorged these tissues become, the more sensitive they are, and the higher the chance of orgasm. Studies using Doppler ultrasound have shown clear changes in clitoral blood flow when women change positions, and this is the scientific basis for confirming that position can influence pleasure. Not only circulation, but the nervous system also plays a major role. The clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings concentrated in a tiny but highly sensitive glands. These nerves send signals to the spinal cord and brain, where neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin are released, creating arousal. In particular, the hormone oxytocin, often called the love hormone, also increases sharply during orgasm, helping women feel more connected and closer to their partner. Orgasm can be compared to a symphony, in which blood flow, nerves, and hormones are the three main instruments. If only one instrument plays, the music will not be complete. But when all three harmonize, the climax truly arrives. And because the clitoris houses most of the instruments, any position that increases pressure, friction, and blood flow to this area will enhance the chances of orgasm. In fact, many studies have shown that even small changes in angle and rhythm can make a big difference. A 2021 study found that simply placing a pillow to lift the woman's pelvis by a few centimeters increased blood flow to the clitoris by nearly 20% compared to the usual position. This is clear evidence that seemingly simple things can have powerful physiological effects. In short, female orgasm is the result of an entire complex system, and the body responds very sensitively to changes in position, angle, and stimulation. Understanding this will help you realize that orgasm is not luck, but something that can be intentionally facilitated. When it comes to female orgasm, sexual position cannot be overlooked. As ultrasound and 3D studies have proven, each position can create a significant difference in clitoral blood flow and the distribution of physical pressure. Here are 4 positions that science has rated as most effective in helping women achieve orgasm. The first position is woman on top, face to face. This position is widely loved and for good reason. In this position, the woman has complete control over the angle, depth, rhythm, and pace. This control allows her to adjust everything to suit her sensations. An ultrasound imaging study showed that in this position, blood flow to the clitoris not only increased significantly, but was also symmetrically distributed, meaning the entire clitoris was nourished and more sensitive. Moreover, when the woman sits upright or leans slightly forward, her pubic bone presses against the base of the penis, creating direct friction on the clitoris. This is why this position often brings a higher chance of orgasm. In reality, many women say they climax more easily when allowed to be in control because confidence and psychological comfort play roles just as important as physical stimulation. A helpful tip is to encourage women to experiment with different angles, such as leaning forward for more pressure or reclining back for a different sensation. The second position is man on top with a pillow under the hips. The traditional position is familiar, but with just a small adjustment, placing a pillow under the woman's hips, the effectiveness is remarkably different. When the pelvis is lifted, the angle of penetration changes, focusing thrusts more toward the front, where many nerve pathways connect to the clitoris. A 2020 clinical trial showed that using a pillow under the hips increased clitoral blood flow by an average of 18% compared to without. Especially when combined with steady movements, thrusts make greater contact with the front vaginal wall, close to the G-spot, one of the most sensitive areas. Besides physiological benefits, the pillow also reduces strain on the back and hips, making both partners more comfortable and able to extend lovemaking. Some couples even invest in specialized sex pillows to optimize the experience. The third position is caudal alignment, pubic bone alignment. This is an interesting variation of the traditional position. Instead of thrusting in and out, both partners adjust so that the pubic bone and base of the penis press directly against the clitoris. Then, instead of hard thrusting, they rock their hips with gentle sliding motions, creating continuous and steady pressure on the clitoris while still maintaining penetration. Researchers call this the biological rhythm rocking technique because this movement mimics the natural stimulation pattern that the clitoris responds to best: consistent, direct, and steady friction. Interestingly, in follow-up studies, many women who had never reached orgasm through intercourse before were able to succeed with this position. However, this position requires patience and coordination. At first, it may feel unusual or difficult to keep the rhythm, but with communication and practice, the sensations become increasingly fulfilling. The advice is to be open and say, "I'd like to try this," and then explore together. The fourth position is face-to-face sitting. This position is often described as two people sitting on chairs or a bed, facing each other, legs entwined. Its advantage is not in powerful thrusts, but in emotional connection. With faces close, couples can kiss, caress, and maintain eye contact, which significantly enhances intimacy. Physiologically, this position also improves blood flow to the clitoris, but not as strongly as the previous ones, since there is less direct gravitational force applied. However, its emotional value is significant, helping women relax and reach orgasm more easily when combined with clitoral stimulation by hand or sex toys. Many sex therapists suggest that this position is ideal for extending intimacy because it is gentle, less physically demanding, and allows both partners to enjoy closeness for longer. Thus, these four positions, woman on top, man on top with a pillow, coadal alignment, and face-to-face sitting, have all been scientifically proven to enhance female pleasure. The important thing is not only which position, but also flexibility, experimentation, and open communication between partners. Beyond position, supplementary techniques play a crucial role in increasing pleasure and improving orgasm potential for women. In reality, many couples believe the difference is not only come from how they have sex, but from small details such as angle, rhythm, and coordination. Here are some techniques backed by research and real experiences that make a noticeable difference. One simple yet effective technique is adjusting the hips and angle. A slight change, such as tilting the hips or adjusting the curve of the back, can increase pressure on sensitive areas around the clitoris. Scientists call this micro-adjustment. Even a few degrees of change can increase blood flow and improve friction in the right spots. For example, in the man on top position, if the woman raises her hips slightly with a pillow, the angle of penetration changes significantly, touching the front vaginal wall and enhancing pleasure. Another technique is rocking movements instead of strong thrusts. In many cases, slow, steady rocking proves more effective than quick, forceful thrusts. This is similar to the coadal alignment technique mentioned earlier, where the base of the penis, or the pubic bone, provides constant pressure on the clitoris. Interestingly, many women describe this sensation as like a steady wave instead of a jerky push, making orgasm easier. A third technique is shallow penetration, focusing on the vaginal entrance. The entrance, only a few centimeters deep, contains a high density of nerve endings. Concentrating on shallow, gentle movements in this area often provides more pleasure than eep thrusting. A small 2019 study showed that over 60% of women reported orgasming more easily when their partners focused on the entrance instead of depth. Equally important is incorporating direct clitoral stimulation. This is perhaps the most essential technique because, as mentioned, most women need clitoral stimulation to reach orgasm. Incorporation can be done in many ways, using hands, sex toys, or allowing the woman to stimulate herself during intercourse. A meta-analysis of surveys found that up to 70% of women reached orgasm more easily when clitoral stimulation was combined with penetration. Finally, harmonious coordination between both partners is indispensable. When both listen to each other's feedback and adjust pace accordingly, the experience becomes far more complete. This is not only bodily synchronization, but also emotional harmony. In summary, techniques act like seasoning for the sexual experience. A slight hip adjustment, a gentle rocking rhythm, a timely touch to the clitoris, all combined create a heightened experience, helping women not only orgasm, but also feel deeply connected to their partner. In sex, technique and position are just part of the story, while communication and psychology are equally decisive. Many couples struggle not because they lack knowledge of the body, but because they do not openly share desires and feelings. In reality, many women have difficulty reaching orgasm not due to physical limitations, but because they feel tense, anxious, or uncomfortable with their partner. When the mind is not relaxed, the body struggles to embrace pleasure. The sympathetic nervous system, activated in stressful situations, reduces arousal and restricts blood flow to sensitive areas. On the other hand, when a woman feels safe, respected, and listened to, the parasympathetic system activates, blood circulation improves, oxytocin rises, and she can fully enjoy the moment. In other words, orgasm is not only about the body, but also about trust and emotional connection. This highlights the importance of communication. Communication in sex does not need to be complicated or awkward. Sometimes a simple phrase like, "I'd like to try this position," or "Can you slow down a bit?" can make a huge difference. Many sex experts encourage couples to treat bedroom talk as a natural part of intimacy rather than something difficult to say. Moreover, communication is not only verbal. Eye contact, smiles, touches, and holding each other tightly are also powerful signals. These create a sense of connection, making the woman feel loved and cherished, which helps her open up to pleasure. For example, in a U.S. survey, women who reported openly talking with their partners about preferences and desires had nearly a 40% higher orgasm rate than those who communicated less. This shows that just a bit of openness can significantly improve sexual experiences. The most important thing is not to turn sex into a competition to achieve orgasm. Instead, treat it as a journey of discovery. When the mind is relaxed and the connection is strong, orgasm comes naturally, often unexpectedly, and far more intensely. Sleep plays a far greater role in sexual life than most people think. When you sleep enough, your body restores energy, balances hormones, and resets the nervous system. This is the foundation for maintaining desire and the ability to orgasm. In men, lack of sleep significantly reduces testosterone, the hormone that determines performance and sexual vitality. Just a few nights of sleep deprivation can lower testosterone to levels equivalent to 10 years of aging. In women, poor sleep is closely linked to a decline in estrogen, causing vaginal dryness, reduced libido, and difficulty reaching orgasm. A study at the University of Michigan showed that women who slept 7 to 8 hours per night had a nearly 14% higher chance of orgasm than those who were frequently sleep deprived. This is not surprising, as quality sleep improves parasympathetic function, increases blood flow to sensitive areas, and enhances sexual response. Beyond hormones, sleep also affects mood. Sleep-deprived people are often irritable, stressed, and less interested in sex. Conversely, a good night's sleep brings alertness, positivity, and stronger emotional connection with a partner. Therefore, to improve sexual life, start by sleeping enough and sleeping deeply. Avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed, keep the bedroom quiet and cool, and maintain a consistent schedule. Sometimes, small changes in sleep habits make a big difference in the bedroom. Sex is a natural and important part of marriage, but sometimes worries, pressures, or misunderstandings can weaken connection. What I want you to remember is that every woman has her own body, emotions, and needs, and there is no universal formula that guarantees orgasm for all. Instead, understanding, communication, and a willingness to experiment are the true keys. If your partner does not easily reach orgasm, it does not mean you lack attractiveness or masculinity. It is simply a reminder that her body needs to be explored in a new way. With scientifically proven positions, combined with subtle but effective techniques, you can absolutely help your partner move closer to complete pleasure. The most important thing is to treat sex as a journey, not a race. Enjoy every moment. Listen to each other's bodies and emotions. When the mindset is relaxed and the connection is nurtured, orgasm will come naturally, powerfully, and completely. Above all, sex is not only about pleasure, but also a strong bond that strengthens love and family happiness.